Hi, I'm Michael Marin, President and CEO of Holy Name Medical Center. At Holy Name, we believe that all citizens need to be informed about the healthcare issues that affect their lives. That's why we're proud to support important healthcare programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Holy Name Medical Center in Teaneck, New Jersey. Healing begins here. The Northward Center, the New Jersey Education Association, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, Summit Medical Group, Adler Aphasia Center, helping stroke and brain injury survivors recover their speech. And by ADP, a comprehensive provider of human resources technology and services. Promotional support provided by AM 970 The Answer and by Jaffe Communications, where business, media, and government converge in New Jersey.
This is One-on-One. I'm an equal American just like you are.
The jobs of tomorrow are not the jobs of yesterday.
Look at this. You got this?
Here it is, man. Look at that.
Life without dance is boring.
I don't care how good you are or how good you think you are, there is always something to learn.
Do you enjoy talking politics?
No.
People call me because they feel nobody's paying attention.
Our culture, I don't think, has ever been tested the way it's being tested right now.
Such a good question. High five.
Welcome to One-on-One. I'm Steve Adubato. Let me introduce our good friend, Jose Lozano, President and CEO of Choose New Jersey, which is, you're at a cocktail party, someone says, oh, choose what? Choose New Jersey? It is?
It's a not-for-profit organization that focuses on not only attracting businesses to New Jersey, but helps to market some of the great assets that we have and helps the administration focus on economic development.
And Jose has had an interesting background in the healthcare field, as well before that a little bit in government.
That's right. Just a little bit. Over at the Environmental Protection Agency for several years under the Obama administration.
You admit that?
I do. Still very proud of it.
Absolutely. By the way, Jose and I are here to talk today about Governor Murphy's, a piece of this is Governor Murphy's speech that was done on October the 1st, 2018. We're taping a little bit after that. The state of innovation.
That's right.
Economics, economy of the state moving forward. Want to set this up for us?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first things first, October 2018 is the 140th anniversary of the creation of the light bulb, right? And so New Jersey is kicking off the State of Innovation plan that the governor not only ran for, but it is now trying to reimagine what the state once had and is trying to try to get it back into the bringing back some of our strengths that we've had.
So when we see the governor, the backdrop that we see is somewhat connected to
That's right. That's right.
The light bulb?
That's right. We wanted to give it a feel of something that's very futuristic and very inspiring.
And Choose New Jersey hosted the event.
That's right. Choose New Jersey hosted it because, you know, one of the main focuses of Choose is to attract new businesses. And the new businesses, we have realized that the best opportunity for the state is for us to invest in companies that are starting up, that can plant the seed in New Jersey and grow in New Jersey. And it's that futuristic company is what we're looking for.
Ready to check out the governor?
Sure.
Let's take a look at Governor Murphy right here.
Now we're ready to take the next big step. We know that a stronger and fairer economy will be a more dynamic and inclusive economy. Just as our past growth was fueled by the inclusion of women, people of color, and immigrants into our workforce as much as it was by innovation. So today we make our boldest move yet to getting New Jersey right. Today we put forward that vision and that strategy and empower and inspire a new style of leadership to put all of those pieces together.
Jose, I'm curious, as we listen to the governor, and by the way, to also disclose you were the director of the transition, the Murphy transition team.
That's right.
After the election. How is this different, substantively, significantly different from the previous economic development plan for the state?
Well, what he rolled out was a framework, and it's a commitment and a vision for the state to invest in a couple of buckets. The first bucket is investing in our people and ensuring that they receive the training and the experiences that they need for the future workforce. It's investing in our communities to ensure that our cities and our towns and our infrastructure can sustain what the future growth should look like. It's the state of innovation. It's looking at what companies need to feel like they flourish, and it's a good place for innovative ideas.
And we were talking the other day, Jose and I were having a offline conversation. I said, okay, so what are the key areas the state of innovation. I think you said clean energy is one.
That's right. That's
Clean
right.
energy is one. What are some of the others?
We have our life sciences.
What does that mean? I was trying to understand. What are life sciences?
It's not only our medical device manufacturing, it's also the pharmaceutical world. We have more PhDs and masters, individuals with masters and PhDs in New Jersey more than any other state in the country. And it's because we have so much in the advance in the life sciences.
And go back to the clean energy part. We were talking to the president of the Board of Public Utilities, Joe Fioraliso, about this, and also former Senator Bob Gordon, who I believe is one of the commissioners as well.
That's right.
This clean energy piece, what does that have to do with innovation, jobs, the economy?
Well, this is something that's new for the state of New Jersey, and I think we have the most opportunity to actually plant our flag and make us a national leader. No other state has really garnered the leadership in clean energy and in wind turbines.
But where's the innovation part?
What do you mean, where's the innovation part?
What innovation part with
How many
clean
wind
energy?
turbines do you see right now?
What you're saying is we're not where we need to be.
That's right.
And
That's
it requires innovation
That's
to
right.
get there.
That's right. It's from the manufacturing to the installation to the maintenance, everything.
And by the way, there's also another organization involved in this, the Economic Development Authority.
That's right.
The EDA. People may hear of it, and we had Tim Sullivan on State of Affairs, our sister program, talking about this. What's their connection to this?
Well, the Economic Development Authority is the biggest driver of all this. I mean, they are the strategy arm for the state of New Jersey and going to actually walk the state into the future. Choose New Jersey is helping to market it and is amplifying some of the great work and some of the great plans and some of the great incentives that they'll put forward.
You were talking to me about the market. It's interesting. You were saying, so I said, oh, so you're trying to market to businesses in New Jersey. And you said, yeah, but...
No, we want to focus on...
Who's that market?
The market is, we have some spectacular assets in the state of New Jersey. We have the second best K-12 district in the country. We have some of the best beaches. We have some of the smartest folks. We have mountains. We have everything that it will... anything and everything you would ever want to have and to be able to grow and to be able to have a job and be able to live. And so our job is to actually go out there and actually convince the folks in California.
California?
California.
To come here.
New Jersey is just a smaller version of California. We have some smart folks. We have some great cities. We have some great foods. We're right by an ocean. We have the mountains. You can go hiking. You can have the beach. We have everything. We have everything that California has.
So, I'm sorry, and you're trying to get businesses in California, businesses in the Carolinas, businesses
overseas.
By the way, yeah, what about the Germany piece of this?
That's right.
You're opening up an office in
Germany, in Berlin.
Because?
They will promote New Jersey in Europe. Many states are doing this. We have strategically identified an individual who will represent New Jersey day to day and interface with businesses about the great assets that New Jersey has. She'll be housed out of Berlin, but her full responsibility will be all of Europe.
And by the way, Choose is sponsoring, I believe, I don't know if it's called a trade mission. I'm not sure what's it called.
Yeah, it's a business attraction. Yeah.
Israel and
Germany. So in Germany, we will be in Berlin, Frankfurt, and Hamburg. And when we're in Israel, we'll be in Tel Aviv and we'll be in Jerusalem.
You know, Jose and I, again, we've had a long-standing personal and professional relationship, and we talk a lot about what this state is like. This is a unique state geographically as well and culturally, without getting too deep into this. There's South Jersey, there's North Jersey. I saw Stephen Colbert with Jon Stewart debating whether, in fact, there is a Central Jersey. Are we one state when it comes to business?
That's right. We are New Jersey. We have everything and anything you would ever want. We have the best transportation infrastructure. We have Newark Airport that can get you to 90 direct flights to around the world. We have 21 flights a day that go to California, to San Francisco. It's a great, easy
but I'm going to play
access.
devil's advocate a little bit before I let you out here. Oh, come on, that affordability thing in New Jersey. It's really tough to afford New Jersey. When you're out there and you're trying to bring businesses in, you deal with it up front?
We do. We acknowledge that we are a high cost state, but we have great value to it.
You're saying there's a ROI on it?
Absolutely.
So interesting, because New Jersey, those of us who were born and raised here, by the way, where were you born and raised?
I was born in New York City, but I was raised in New Jersey, Bergen County.
We got you now?
forever, and my 2 kids.
I love it. Jose Lozano is the president of Choose New Jersey. We've been working with them for a long time. We look forward to, by the way, we're talking about doing an entire series. I don't know if we're going to call it the State of Innovation, but it's about innovation in our state, and we're working in cooperation with Jose and some other folks as well on this. Jose, I want to thank you for joining us, my
Thank
friend.
you, Steve.
Well done. Stay with us. We'll be right back right after this.
To watch more One-on-One with Steve Adubato, find us online and follow us on social media.
We're pleased to be joined by Dr. Bryan C. Price, Executive Director of the Buccino Leadership Institute at Seton Hall University. Good to see you.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Both of us are students of, think about leadership. And I don't know about you, but I make mistakes all the time, which is the way I learn most of the time. When it comes to leadership, why are you so fascinated with leadership?
Well, I think I've tried to be a leader my entire life. It started out in the sports arena, and then in...
Talk about that, the sports side.
Yeah, sure. So I was a 3-sport athlete in high school, and then when I went to West Point for my undergraduate, I played on the baseball team there. And since then, I've had the opportunity to go back to West Point to teach, and I've also served as an assistant coach on their baseball team as well. So there's a lot of leadership lessons that you can learn from the sports world.
Sure is. And by the way, our mutual friend Karen Baroff, she was teaching up at West Point. She got me and a whole bunch of other folks to go up there and teach. And I will tell you, one of the greatest, not just academic experiences in my life, but greatest personal experiences, meeting the young men and women. Talk about leaders.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, West Point is a special place. It has been developing leaders of character for over 200 years. And in times like these, we need leaders now more than ever.
To that point, we were talking to our friends up at Seton Hall recently about this initiative, the Buccino Leadership Institute. And I'm trying to understand, because there are leadership courses.
Sure.
They're at the Stillman School of Business, you know, at Seton Hall. Leadership, right? Management leadership, which people think is the same thing. You and I both know, just a little bit different. But how is this initiative different, and how does it go well beyond, quote unquote, the classroom?
Absolutely. So the first thing is that leadership is not new to Seton Hall, nor is it new to a lot of universities and colleges around the country. And it's important to also highlight that inside the Stillman School of Business, there's been a leadership program that's been highly, highly successful.
That's right.
HR.com has actually rated the Stillman School of Business Buccino Leadership Center the top-rated program in the past 4 years. So by no means am I bringing anything new to the program. Where I think our program is unique, however, though, is in our approach. There's a lot of leadership institutes and programs in different universities, and oftentimes they only reside in the business school, or they're only offered to graduate students. And so for the first time, we're actually offering a comprehensive 4-year leadership program to all of the students that are competitively selected at Seton Hall. So it's not just business students, it's students from all across the university.
But Brian, you're talking about nurses? People in nursing, people in journalism, people in sports management, if you will,
Sure.
Political science, et cetera, the not-for-profit program there that I know very well. Explain what it means. Say you're in one of these disciplines, but you're one of the leadership, what are they called?
So they're called Buccino Scholars.
Buccino Scholars. Yep. What happens for them and to them, around them, that helps them become the leaders they're capable of being?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think, in the business world, all too often we wait until folks, reach a certain segment of their career where they're identified at middle management as being quote unquote leaders.
Yeah.
And so here we're doing that with actual freshmen. And so why wait until you're in your mid-career before you start getting some actual leadership development? The approach that we're taking is a little bit unique. The first part is it's interdisciplinary. So we're teaching the fundamentals and the universal concepts of leadership as an interdisciplinary cohort.
Break that down. So there's a little academic jargon. I want to break that
Sure.
down. So you break down the silos, the pillars. So therefore, someone who is studying in the nursing school could interact with
a poet, a person studying for business, the engineer. And so every Friday, actually, I have all 83 of our students in a class learning about these fundamental concepts of leadership. And so that's where we want to do is we want to break down these silos so that we can better learn about these fundamentals. But in addition, in each of the colleges at Seton Hall, the 6 that are participating, there are associate directors that are experts in their specific fields. And so while they'll get the fundamentals from myself, Then they go into their cohorts to learn about what does it mean to be a leader in the nursing field, and they learn it from an expert nurse.
It's not the clinical side. It's interesting because we've talked to folks in our nursing initiative many times, but it's not the clinical side of it. It's the part about dealing with people, about coaching and mentoring others, developing future leaders, about dealing with conflict resolution, negotiation, running really good meetings. I'm not going to go into the weeds here, but that's not. I always ask myself, or making, as a student of presentation and communication, I always ask myself, what makes us think that a nurse or a physician or a business person or someone in sports management would be a great communicator? Where did they learn that?
So all too often, it's on the job. What we're trying to do is we're trying to do it inside 4 years at Seton Hall, so that when our graduates leave the Institute, they're going to have a leg up on their competition.
Yeah. By the way, you mentioned the sports background. Talked about the military background, what's taught you about leadership. I'm fascinated.
Sure. So again, I went to West Point, and when I graduated, I was commissioned as an aviation officer. And so for the first half of my career, I flew Apache attack helicopters, had service in Iraq and Afghanistan, and in those stressful situations, you learn not only a lot about leadership, but you also learn a lot about yourself.
First of all, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
The other part of this is that I mentioned conflict resolution, and I'm not going to get political because that's not what we do. But given how divisive we appear to be in our nation, how polarized we appear to be in our nation, in your view, Bryan, where is the place for exceptional leadership in quote-unquote bringing people together? Or is that a pipe dream of mine?
No, and I think all you have to do is to open up the newspaper or watch the evening news to understand that we need leadership, not just in the political arena, but in all these different types of arenas. And so, yeah, I think it's needed now more than ever.
Let me ask you this. When we talk about leadership, and I've asked people about this, I'm curious about a couple things. Number one, the greatest leadership lesson you have learned, whether it's in sports or in the military, et cetera, the greatest leadership lesson you've learned is?
So be yourself.
Well, hold on, devil's advocate, be yourself, but don't be satisfied with who and where you are at this point. Is that a contradiction?
No, when I say be yourself, obviously part of your mantra in life as a leader should be always relentless improvement.
That's right.
You should be never satisfied with the status quo. But what I mean by be yourself is if you put the mission or your objective as well as your people first, you're never going to fail. But how you do that is kind of up to your unique leadership style. So, for example, if you are an extrovert, then own that. If you're an introvert, don't try to be something that you're not. And so in my leadership style, even though it's probably not coming across right now, I've tried to use a little bit of humor and to try to relate to people and to show vulnerabilities. You said at the outset of the show about being brave enough in order to identify when you have made mistakes.
Trust me, I have an entire book that I wrote about leadership lessons and leadership. Half of it's about the mistakes I've made. Why is that relevant to being a great leader?
Because
I'm not saying I am, I'm just saying.
Sure. So, I mean, when you make mistakes and you own up to them, A, it shows that you're human, B, it shows that you're vulnerable, but the most important thing is I think it builds trust amongst the folks that you're trying to lead.
Final question, your hopes for the Buccino Leadership Institute at Seton Hall is?
Sure. I want to create the most effective leadership development program in the country. And in the same concept, when people think about Rhodes Scholars and what that means when you're hiring someone, I want to do the same thing at Seton Hall.
Well said. Thank you, Bryan.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Stay with us. We'll be right back right after this.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
This is a fascinating young lady. She's Martel Catalano, co-founder and executive director of an organization called Beyond My Battle. How you doing?
Great. I'm so happy to be here.
Let me disclose that I knew you when you were a little kid.
Yes.
You and your brother and your family, and great family.
Yeah.
But I'm fascinated that you are doing what you're doing right now. Beyond My Battle is?
So first and foremost, we're a nonprofit organization, and we're helping individuals and their loved ones manage the emotional stress that comes with any kind of illness or disability.
And you have faced and continue to face a challenge in that regard. Talk about it.
Right. So I have a incurable disease myself called retinitis pigmentosa. It's an inherited eye condition that affects the retina and essentially kills the rods in your eyes over the course of your life, leaving you with, when I was diagnosed at 13, I realized I had a huge issue with night vision. I couldn't see in the dark like my friends could. And then I grew to learn that it would slowly start to take my vision from the outsides in, so loss of peripheral vision as well, leaving you with tunnel vision, but probably legal blindness at some point down the road.
Go from that to why you created this organization.
Yeah, so...
Because you could just have worried about yourself, felt bad about yourself, and
which I did for a long
sorry for yourself.
time.
Well, who could blame you?
Yeah, definitely. Well, it started out with me feeling bad about myself for a long time, definitely. I really dissociated from having this disease, really didn't think about it for at least a decade. I was diagnosed with depression, anxiety, eating disorders, and was medicated for those things, which really was just addressing these symptoms of the problem, but I needed to go into the root of the problem and really learn why I was depressed, learn why I was so anxious, which myself and I think my family would attest to, we just really weren't doing at home. From there, I personally started studying yoga, mindfulness, started meditating, started thinking of ways that I could just accept what was going on in my life. I knew that I couldn't change having RP, but I could change the way I was responding to having it. It was never going to go away. It was probably going to only get worse, and I needed to change myself from the inside. And then I met a friend who is now a dear friend of mine and the co-founder of Beyond My Battle, my friend Nell, who has cystic fibrosis. And I don't know what you know about CF, but it affects, first and foremost, your lungs and your digestive system. But when we met, there was just a spark. We immediately realized that we were supporting each other in a way that support groups didn't do for us, that when we were only surrounding ourselves with people who have the same thing we have, there tends to be a lot of stress and negativity and comparison there. So we realized that because even though we couldn't relate to what each other was experiencing on a physical level, we could totally understand each other on an emotional level. We had all the same feelings of fear and anxiety, frustration, social embarrassment, all of these similar emotions and themes. So we created a support group on Facebook, and from there, the need for the nonprofit really just came to us.
The total time from then to now?
We created the support group about 1.5 years ago, and we've only been a 501c3 since February.
You know, it's not fair to a lot of folks, but I'm thinking back to when I knew you when you're a kid, right? And you always struck me as artistic, creative, because you were.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
are. That part of you, that very deep, creative, artistic part of you, it's still there, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. I went to college for art, and then I sort of transitioned and I did my MBA, but all the while really focused on how to present things, how to create things. I'm definitely an idea person, and it was through that ideation that came about Beyond My Battle, definitely.
Beyond My Battle, there's a toolkit, isn't there?
Yes,
What is
that's
it?
our first, the first resource that we're developing.
By the way, people go on the website and check it out, so go ahead.
Yeah. We're creating a number of resources for both the individual living with any kind of disease or disability as well as their loved ones, because we know that that's really stressful too. The toolkit is for both. It addresses both sides of the aisle, and it essentially is just a collection of fundamental tools and strategies that have been proven to bring you down off of that stress state, bring you back to a state of calm, which is critical for people living with chronic illness and disability. And we filled the toolkit with 5 tools, first being the most important one, which is releasing next week. That tool is called Relationship. It's extremely important to have healthy and supportive relationships in your life when you're living with something that's out of your hands. And from there we have meditation, we have breath, nature, and movement. 5 things that we can really all do to bring us back to a state of calm.
Let's out of here. I got a minute left. What has this done for you to do this?
Oh man, it has become my purpose. I wasn't sure of who I was, where I was going necessarily, had so many interests in life with art, I studied environmental studies, and then, you know, acknowledging my own condition and meeting my friend now, I just totally realized now what I was put on this planet to do.
This is your mission.
Yeah.
It's hard for you to appreciate this, and I'm not going to get overly philosophical, but you just helped an awful lot of people who will watch this as it repeats many times, and they'll want to find out more about Beyond My Battle and more about you and your story. But I know that your parents are proud of you, and everyone who's known you for just more than a few years are proud of you. We're proud of you as well. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thanks, Martel. Check you out next time, folks. Thank you.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Holy Name Medical Center in Teaneck, New Jersey, the Northward Center, the New Jersey Education Association, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, Summit Medical Group, Adler Aphasia Center, and by ADP. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
When it comes to you and your family's health care, transparency is key. At Holy Name Medical Center, we believe in creating an environment where patients can be educated and informed so they can get the most out of their health care. As New Jersey's healthcare industry continues to evolve and change, Holy Name remains committed to providing patients with high-quality, accessible, and affordable health care.